Welcome back to Inside Games, the only gaming news channel brave enough to expose ourselves to the culture war.
Yeah, we're going to need a topical cream for this one. Little SPF 100, something like that. Yeah, we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. This is the upcoming AAA open world Harry Potter game. It's tracking for a massive launch, just huge based on pre-order numbers and early Twitch viewership.
That's right. Right now, all indicators we can see are pointing to Hogwarts Legacy as the first true blockbuster of 2023, with sales projected to rival Elden Ring or Cyberpunk 2077.
And boy, would it be nice if that's where the story ends. Good game, going to sell well, great, close it up. But yeah, there's a pretty big elephant in the room when it comes to the wizarding world, and that elephant is awfully transphobic.
That is exactly right. This makes matters very, very complicated, raising the age-old chestnut of separating art from artist. Folks have a range of beliefs on the matter, expressing themselves through open calls for boycotts, complete bans in various internet communities, and of course, online bullying of both content creators and game developers. That's what the internet does best.
That's right. It's the 2020s. How else can you make your beliefs known as loudly as possible? Yeah, it's real messy out there, but luckily Inside Games is here to cut through all of the heat and give you the news. For that, we got to consult the hottest mess we have on staff. Yummy! Cast a little expecto predictum. Tell us about these Hogwarts Legacy's pre-order numbers.
You got it, Lawrence. Though Hogwarts Legacy isn't out until Friday, early sales numbers indicate that the game is doing very, very well. Based on Steam pre-orders, Hogwarts Legacy is projected to be one of the biggest sellers of 2023. It was the top wishlist game a full 5 weeks before launch. And when we checked Steam today, the game was the #1 selling game by revenue. The game also tracked #1 on Amazon sales charts for both Xbox Series and PlayStation 5, both in the middle of January and right now, or at the time of writing anyway. Not bad for a game that hasn't even released.
It's also firmly atop the Twitch mountain as the most popular game this morning. It was easily beating favorites like Just Chatting, Counter-Strike, and League of Legends.
Yeah, still not even out yet. Pretty insane. Yeah, there's a few other games in recent memory that have tracked this strongly before release. Like we mentioned, Elden Ring and Cyberpunk 2077. Both of those games blew past the 10 million sales mark in their launch windows, so I think we can expect the same for Hogwarts Legacy.
That's great news for the developers, Avalanche Software, who previously worked on Disney Infinity and Tak and the Power of Juju? Is that what it is?
God!
I don't know. I like developers that are constantly simmering and releasing software, and then they eventually get a huge hit. I guess Disney Infinity was pretty big, but still. It does make sense in the case of Hogwarts Legacy. You know, we get low level enough. You got a massive IP like Harry Potter, plus the good reviews. It's AAA open world. Yeah, that's what everybody's been waiting for, really. This is what happens.
Probably here's the biggest surprise. The reviews are solid. The PS5 version of the game is sitting at an 85 on Metacritic, which means that the vast majority of reviewers liked the game. Yami, what'd they say about it?
IGN's Travis Northup called it the Harry Potter RPG I've always wanted to play, adding that the open world adventure captures all the excitement and wonder of the wizarding world with its memorable new characters, challenging and nuanced combat, and a wonderfully executed Hogwarts student fantasy.
Attack of the Fanboy said the game is, quote, what the fans have always dreamed of. Writing, quote, this is by far the best Wizarding World video game to ever come out and stands with a select few games that prove more is more.
Of course, you cannot talk about Hogwarts Legacy without discussing the controversial creator of Harry Potter. Oh, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, right there at Notch territory of like, we just like to pretend that all this just came from space. But over the years, she's been accused of making anti-trans comments on Twitter, which have drawn rebuke from a lot of people, including Harry Potter actor Daniel Radcliffe. To say the least, it's complicated. That's the nicest word we can use. Complicated her legacy.
But how does all this affect the game, Yami?
Well, for one, there's been a fair amount of backlash to Hogwarts Legacy in the game's media itself. Some outlets are refusing to review the game due to Rowling's trans comments. Canadian outlet The Gamer won't run a review or guides for the game. Editor-in-Chief Stacey Henley told Axios that, we feel the continued popularity of Harry Potter only provides J.K. Rowling with a larger platform and further legitimizes her views, which we in turn feel are harmful to trans people.
Meanwhile, Rock Paper Shotgun is counter-programming with something called Magic Week, where they spotlight games with emphasis on magic, wizards, and the like, that kind of stuff. Specifically those made by trans developers.
And in its review, IGN even included a sidebar headlined concerning J.K. Rowling. It stated that, as critics, it's our job to answer the question of whether or not we find Hogwarts Legacy to be fun to play and why. Whether it's ethical to play is a separate but still very important question.
So we should note here that IGN has sponsored content for Hogwarts. They did a couple of them. So There are obviously other factors in the decision beyond the ethics of games coverage. No judgment, but there's definitely a financial relationship between IGN and Hogwarts Legacy.
The ethics of playing and discussing the game echo out beyond gaming media outlets too, with many calling to boycott the game from various corners of the gaming community. The YouTuber Jesse Earl said that any support of something like Hogwarts Legacy is harmful. That prompted a response from Rowling herself, calling out the moral absolutism by saying, sarcastically, that the truly righteous wouldn't just burn their books and movies, but the local library, anything with an owl on it, and their own pet dogs. Oh, I hate her.
I know, she's the worst. She's just the worst. She's just the worst.
Such an idiot. God,
Take all your money and be quiet.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, seriously, just
God.
shut up.
Yeah, the popular forum Reset Era banned all discussion of the game, also citing Rowling's trans comments.
Other online communities have tried to be a little more surgical, with both the PS5 and Hogwarts Legacy subreddits explicitly banning discussion of J.K. Rowling, independent from the game discussion itself.
Yeah, this situation's kind of interesting because boycotts were pretty easy when it was just garbage movies. Those were easy to ignore. But now it's supposedly a really good game that a lot of people have been waiting decades for. This whole issue's really coming to a head.
There was even a backlash to IGN's positive review of the game, with some accusing IGN of getting paid for a positive review.
I mean, whatever. Every other day, dude.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. That happens for every review that IGN does. By the way, and from all the people that I've spoken to at IGN, that never happens. So.
No, it never happens. As I worked in games media before, it never happens.
Yeah, no, I know. Others said the review felt like the author was being held hostage.
Yeah, there's also a lot of streamer drama involving the game.
Some are refusing to stream it due to its connection with Rowling. Veronica Nicotine Ripley blasted a Twitch ad campaign for the game and said she won't be streaming while that campaign is active. And those who are streaming Hogwarts Legacy have faced abuse. One couple, Girlfriend Reviews, had to stop playing the game because abuse from the chat made one of the streamers cry. The popular streamer Hassan Piker said that lots of streamers probably won't play the game for fear of bullying.
Other groups like the UK-based Gaming Professionals Out Making Games have called for developers and publishers to make statements of support for trans people, as well as donate to trans charities.
So yeah, a lot of emotions out there. It's morally complicated, and everybody's trying to figure it out.
Meanwhile, the developers of Hogwarts Legacy, Avalanche Software, have tried to do a delicate dance when it comes to the game and its relationship with Rowling. On the game's FAQ page, they wrote that she is not involved in the creation of the game, but they added that as creator of the Wizarding World and one of the world's greatest storytellers, oh my god, her extraordinary body of writing is the foundation of all projects in the Wizarding World. The devs said they collaborated closely with Rowling's team on all aspects of the game to ensure it remains in line with the magical experiences fans expect.
Rowling's also not in the game credits, so while she's not directly involved in the game, it does sound like there was some collaboration between the two teams when they were making the game, but she's not in the credits.
And this is, again, news, objective statement. The connection to Rowling doesn't seem to have hurt the game's sales at all, or at least the early ones, which are, like we said, massive.
Interestingly, it appears that the devs added a trans character into the game, which actually could be viewed as a rebuke of J.K. Rowling's sentiments.
Creators kind of taking it and making it what they want it to be versus what she would clearly want it to be. During a quest, you meet a character named Sirona Ryan, the owner of the Three Broomsticks pub in Hogsmeade.
You ask Sirona Ryan about a goblin you're pursuing, and she replies, quote, "Hadn't seen him in years when he came in a few months ago, but he recognized me instantly, which is more than I can say for some of my own classmates. It took them a second to realize I was actually a witch, not a wizard."
So it's not an explicitly trans character, but it's pretty easy to read between the lines there. But yeah, like we said, a very complicated issue, and this is interesting, Bruce, because you've been streaming the game. So I was just curious what your experience streaming it has been and what your thoughts are on the murky waters there.
Yeah, no, I'll give you the preamble of the reason I'm streaming it. Number one, I love Harry Potter and loved it for 20 years, long before J.K. Rowling came out as a shithead. And number two, I wanted to make sure that when I streamed this game, I didn't give J.K. Rowling any money. So I got a code for free for the game from WB. I'm telling people, don't buy the video game, because a small portion of whatever, any purchase that you make Harry Potter related, will go to J.K. Rowling. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're at Universal Studios and you buy butterbeer, that's going to J.K. Rowling. So be aware of that. So I'm hoping that my stream will sort of be a stand-in for the game, so that people don't buy the game and instead just watch the stream. And also, any revenue that I make for these Hogwarts Legacy streams, 20% of that revenue goes to Trans Lifeline, an amazing trans charity that I have been looking into over the last couple of weeks. So that's what I'm doing, and I am enjoying the game. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for the developers. I feel bad for the developers because they made a good game here.
Well, they're about to make a lot of money. So
That's true. No, you're right, Lawrence. You're right.
We'll
no,
see.
You're right.
We'll see. It is a shame, though, that they can't release a game they worked really hard on to the praise of the uncomplicated praise of people that are celebrating that work.
I think it's such a shame that a IP that means so much to so many people, because I know a lot of people that, like Bruce, love Harry Potter. And they grew up with it, and it like inspired them, and it's like this amazing part of them. It's such a shame that the creator has tainted all that for those people. It's so awful. Trans rights are human rights, and fuck J.K. Rowling. That's all I got.
Just a provided note about the fact that we're covering the game at all here and the manner in which we cover it. So on Inside Games, we try pretty hard to separate news from opinion. We usually push it towards the end of the episode, like right here, which is not really the trend in modern reporting. Typically, the angle is the news. You know, I'm going to introduce this story and tell you what to think first and then get to everything else. So I don't know. I don't want to do that here. I think we believe pretty strongly in presenting you with the information and then whatever context and history we can offer, and then respecting your ability to decide. Some people would say that that's, opting out of taking a side, but whatever. We can say the easy side to take is that human rights issues are not a matter of opinion. So yes, trans rights or civil rights are human rights, just in case our neutrality in reporting feels like a statement compared to other reporting that might be a little more opinionated. But as far as supporting the game and separating that from the values of its creator, that's a really messy moral situation that I don't believe has a clear right answer. If you believe there is a clear, right, morally absolute answer, that is your right, and you can go on believing that. But Bruce and I have both been in situations where the fates of the people we care about and want to support are tied explicitly to those that we maybe don't care about and support as much. It's a messy situation, and to write everything off because of the actions of some people, I don't know. After being in that situation, it becomes very, very difficult to speak with any moral absolutism about any of this. So that's why we're covering the game. And that's also why we're covering it in this manner. And we invite you to look over everything and do what you feel is right.
Well said, Lawrence. That's what I've been saying to everybody, really. If you have decided that you don't want to buy the game or watch the streams or support Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter, none of that, do it. I want you to do that. Whatever decision you make is correct for yourself, and I mean that with everything. It doesn't matter what you're supporting. So, and I don't know that any one of us here will be offended if you're like, well, I don't want to watch the Inside Games episode because it's Hogwarts Legacy. It's okay, no problem.
We got some patrons to thank that are just always watching over us, just like Severus Snape. Christian Morgan Anderson, Cody Jost, James Bowser, and Ryan Danbury. Thank you.
And then these patrons kind of have a weird thing for my mom, just like Snape did with the Harry Potter's mom. Brian Costner, Tony Varela, Kyle Heaton, and the creatures with Nerds Bruce Gaming. Thanks, but maybe don't. She's already attached to James Potter.
What good did that do her, Bruce? She needed a real man.